Hey, how are you doing? It's a little musical introduction. Thank you very much, Bruce. Okay, how are you doing? Nice to see you, or nice for you to see me. Hey, the music's still playing. This will be the last of the videos going along with the outlines for the class. Make sure you open uh, outline class 4, 4Y, 4Y1. It's a hybrid class, that's what the Y means. So make sure you open class 4 PDF so you're able to follow along, all right? I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, is it open? There you go. First, Kosovo visit. Just a brief note about that. Had a great time in an interesting place, developing country. Not exactly as way out there in terms of development, but a good infrastructure, roads and hotels and money and big systems and large city and all those kinds of things. But I was out in the countryside where I met people who are live difficult lives. Not that they have, they're not starving, but they're working on building businesses. And I met some young and budding entrepreneurs, and that's what I worked on there. Was work with a group that's trying to help these entrepreneurs start their businesses. They won. A few of them won 10,000 euro. You have to look up to see what that's worth. It's a lot of money. Loans, not gifts, not grants, but loans to help start their businesses. So I'll give you more about that in an essay later that I'm going to send out to you, and some links to my pictures from there. So a great and interesting time, and I try to bring that into the classroom, and I'll tell you more about it later. But let's go on to the rest of the outline. I don't want to make this video too long. It seems like the longer videos get fewer views, so I want to make sure you watch the whole thing. All right, go on to page 2, chapters 4 through 8. Make sure you read the book, chapters 4 through 8, and make some comments on the website if you haven't done it yet. I know, folks, reading is tough for young people these days, but still the main thing we do in college in order to give you a chance to get some new information, learn vocabulary, improve your writing, and confront and address and adopt new ideas. So if you can't find the focus or time to read the whole thing all at once, that's understandable. Most people can't do it, but do sit down for 10, 15, 20 minutes, half-hour segments, and read the book and make some comments on the website. I give you some specifics right here on what I'm looking for. You can make comments and questions, obviously, about whatever you read in there, related to your own experience. There's a lot in there that you know about, that you've experienced, and of course there's updates and changes since it was written. Think about that for yourself and add something. Make it full sentences, quotations. Display your thinking and reflection. That's what's the necessity here, is that you think and reflect on the material. That's what reading does for you. So make sure you get the chance to do that, and post some comments on the discussion board within the next week, because after that comes the last 2 chapters. So I want to see stuff on 4 through 8 in the next few days. Also, read other students' comments and respond to them. That's what makes it a discussion, and that's an essential part of making it a successful part of the class. I'm looking at my dog, who's looks dead, but he's just sleeping. Okay, he's just sleeping. I've got to check to make sure. All right, on to the next page. Commanding Heights essays. If you haven't done these yet, please get to it. There's a good amount of them have been done. But I tell you right here, these are all the things that I hope that you'll get out of watching Commanding Heights. Believe me, reading a textbook on this would take a lot longer. It'd be a lot harder. But economic theories, there's only 2 in the movie. Hayek and Keynes. Make sure you know who they are and what they mean, and you should be able to think about and address how they relate to today. This is right up to date with economics and what's going on in politics and government and taxation and the role of governments and conservatives and liberals today. So make sure you are able to understand that and express that. If you're not sure, if you're unclear, give me a call or send me an email message. I'll try to help you out. ICTs, the role of ICTs in all of this change in economics that have been going on. Development, they show you a fair amount about development and developing countries and the role of these theories in developing countries. Which theory is the best to address development, and at what point? You have to think about that. Trade and WTO are significantly addressed in the film as well, and again, it has direct relevance to our lives, so you should be able to think about it and address those ideas. They show you the protests and all the young people against trade, the unions, and all those things that happen in Seattle, so you should be able to think about that once you've viewed that. Thinking and talking about the economic disparities in the world. A significant, maybe the most significant idea in the class that I hope that you'll think about and understand, and try to find your role in it, or address it for your life. What does it mean to you that there's such poverty in the world among such wealth in the world? Again, asymmetric development, the concept we talked about before, means we're not going to wait. We don't wait for everybody to have a a bicycle before some people get cars. There's going to be differences, but what about the fairness of it? What's the role of economic theory in it, and what's your role in life and thinking about it? And so that's important too. Shock treatment is discussed in the film. It's not electrodes to the brain, but it means changing an economy quickly, and there's quite a few interesting examples given in the film and about how effective it is, and it's been effective in Poland and Russia and in South America, but also how painful it is. People lose their jobs, people run out of money, people die even as a result of it. So do look at the concept and make sure you have some ideas about it. Property rights, a great section of the film with one of my favorite characters in the whole video, Hernando de Soto, talking about light titles and property rights and mortgages and credit and the system of identification that we take for granted every day, and that's really what makes capitalism and the flourishing economy possible. And do we want to make sure, do we want those things installed in developing countries? How will it change them? How will it change a countryside, a place where people have lived for hundreds of years without a piece of paper saying who owns the land, but now it's required. I want you to think about that. It's pretty interesting. So complex system, complex problem solutions. One of the main ideas of being in college is to be able to understand complex systems and problems and to think about solutions. So make sure you've thought about that and are able to address it in the essays, which you can look at before you even watch the video. But make sure you get them done in the next week, because a bunch of people are behind in that. Maybe not a lot. All right, next page. Just to reiterate, using ICTs to improve efficiency and effectiveness, just read the first sentence. Processes where societies improve, standard of living rises, and conditions are conducive for investment or business. In all these areas, ICTs have been used in your lifetime to improve standard of living and conditions and make people more efficient and effective. And is that the goal, to use ICTs around the world to do the same thing? So that's one thing to think about. That's a major point of the class. All right, one of the last assignments you'll have is an ICT development project assessment or evaluation. So let's see what it says there. Seek to improve conditions through using ICTs to improve processes. Investment in capacity building, that means trying to improve people's capacities, improve the abilities that people have, and then make it sustainable. Leveraging efforts and advantages to promote improvements in standard of living. So I'm going to ask you, I asked you in the last assignment, to find an ICT project in a developing country. There's hundreds of dozens of them, thousands of them online to look at, and do your own evaluation. The questions are listed in the assignment. Again, this is an essay test. You get to fill in the box for each assignment. Do not cut and paste the pieces in there. Don't do it. Read it and then write it yourself. Write it in your own words. If I see cutting and pasting, I send it back to you. Okay? So, and there's ideas there's questions you have to answer about it, not just cut and paste, but you have to answer. Is it a reasonable investment? What's the likelihood of a positive outcome? Is it possible? Is it ambitious? Is it sustainable? You have to evaluate the projects there, not somebody else. So make sure you find it. If you have any questions about it, let me know, but it is an essential final part of the class to do this evaluation. Finishing up, here's what's left. Oh yeah, here's the directions for the ICT development project. Read the questions first. Chapters 9 through 10 for final online comments and discussion. And lastly, don't forget about these. It says the important development contest. This is the last page of the PDF. Sustainability, cost effective, all those ideas are there. Make sure you understand those. If you don't, go back to the previous video for the outline, because I described them all in pretty good detail. That video hasn't been viewed by very many people, so I want you to go back to it if you haven't done it. And lastly, there's going to be a final essay, and this will be on the website. It's not there yet, but I'll ask you to discuss your attitude towards the disparity between rich and poor in the world. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with anybody. You can have your own attitude. I just want to make sure your attitude is informed, is thought out, and justified. That's all you have to do. But it's your opinion that counts, and I'm not going to grade you because I disagree with you. I'll grade you badly because I disagree with you. I'll grade you badly if you don't justify it, if it's not well thought out, or if it's unclear. I want to know that you have a knowledge of the complexity of these issues and the interrelatedness of history, economics, politics, development, and technology. That's what makes this a core class, is that you're asked to do some thinking and through some understanding of some pretty complex issues. If you have questions about it, if you're not sure what I mean by that right now, you can email me or call me up at some point, and I'll be happy to discuss it with you. The best thing probably for you to do, if you're really unclear about a lot of this, is to come to the last class, which is tonight. So maybe a lot of you don't have a chance to view it, but I want to finish up this video. It's about 10 minutes, and I know you're all busy. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me, give me a call, or write, and I'll be happy to get back to you as soon as I can. I'll be at school tonight, and thanks for everything. All right, signing off. Farewell. It won't stop.